if you got a phone call in the middle of the night? And the stranger on the other end whispered, "Your father isn't who you think he is. Don't tell your family. And whatever you do, don't open the door." What would you do? Because when I picked up that call, I had no idea I was ending my old life and stepping into a nightmare where every truth I knew was a lie. My name is Lena, and in the next 10 minutes, you will learn why a detective broke into my house, why two armed men hunted us through the dark, and why a voice outside my window whispered, "Lena, we've been waiting for you." This is the night I found out. My father was a fugitive. My family was a target, and I was the reason they came. The evening had been quiet, too, quiet for a house that held 3 generations of the same family under one roof. The kind of quiet that makes a person feel watched even when they're alone. The old wooden clock in the hallway ticked steady, each second echoing like footsteps on a cold floor. Dinner dishes still sat in the sink, waiting for someone who cared enough to wash them. And on the couch, folded neatly like it was afraid to wrinkle, lay my father's old denim jacket, the one he never went anywhere without. Only he wasn't here anymore. He had left 2 weeks ago. No goodbye. No fight. Just gone. Mama said he needed space. My sister Tara said he was selfish. I said nothing because deep inside, I felt something was wrong. Something worse than a man needing air. I was wiping down the kitchen counter, trying to ignore the ache in my chest, when my phone lit up with a number I didn't recognize. Normally, I would have ignored it. But something instinct dread fate made me answer. I pressed the phone to my ear. "Hello?" There was a crackle like the caller had hesitated. And then a woman's voice, shaky, careful, almost afraid. "Is this the daughter of Thomas Granger?" My stomach tightened. "Yes," I said slowly. "Who is this?" There was another pause. "My name is Detective Marianne Cole. I need to speak with you." "It's urgent." I felt my heartbeat in my throat. "What happened? Is this about my dad?" She hesitated again, and when she finally spoke, her words were soft. "Apologetic? Dangerous. I think you should sit down first." I sank into the nearest chair. My palms were sweating. My heart raced. "Detective," I whispered. "Please tell me what's going on." She exhaled shakily. "Your father, Thomas Granger, isn't who he told you he was." My entire world shifted. "What does that mean?" I asked. "What are you talking about?" "He's a construction foreman. He's lived in this town his whole life." The detective's voice lowered. "No, he hasn't." I felt cold, freezing, like the ground beneath me had turned into glass. "What do you mean he hasn't?" "I've lived with him for 25 years. The silence on the other end felt like a knife. "Ma'am, I think your family is in danger." The air left my lungs. For a second, I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. "Danger? Why? And from who?" Before I could speak, the detective continued. "I'm on my way to you. Do not call anyone. Do not leave the house. Do not tell your mother or sister I called. I'll explain everything when I—" Her voice cut off, shouting sounded in the background, then the line went dead. Just like that. I pulled the phone away from my ear, staring at the screen, unsure whether to scream or faint. My hands were shaking. The room felt too small, the air too thick. What just happened? Why would a detective say we were in danger? And why did she say my dad wasn't who he claimed to be? My breathing turned ragged. Maybe it was a scam call. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe I was losing my mind. But deep inside, I knew it wasn't a mistake. My father's sudden disappearance, his strange behavior the month before, his hushed phone calls, his midnight drives, the new scars on his knuckles, the way he hugged me too tightly the night before he left. "It'll be okay, baby," he whispered back then. "I promise you." But his voice had trembled. And now? A detective was telling me my life was a lie. My mother's footsteps pulled me out of my thoughts. She walked into the kitchen wearing her faded robe, her hair pulled into a tired bun, her face pale from too many sleepless nights. "You okay, honey?" she asked softly. I swallowed hard and forced a smile. "Yeah, just tired." But she saw the fear in my eyes. Mama always did. Before she could ask more, headlights swept across the living room curtains. A car pulled into our driveway. My heart jumped. Was it the detective? Or someone worse? Mama peered outside. "That's strange," she whispered. "It's nearly 10 at night." I stood behind her, nervous energy crawling up my spine. The car door opened. A woman stepped out. Tall, dark coat, short auburn hair, a badge clipped to her belt. Relief washed over me. "That must be her," I said. Mama frowned. "Her who?" I didn't have time to answer. A sharp knock echoed through the house. 3 slow, heavy taps. Mama stiffened. "That doesn't sound like a neighbor." I opened the door. Detective Marianne Cole looked exhausted. Her eyes were bloodshot, her breathing uneven, and her left hand gripped a folder like it contained something radioactive. "Are you alone?" she asked quickly. "No," I answered. "My mom is here." The detective's jaw tightened. "We need to talk privately." Mama placed a hand on her hip. "If someone's talking about my family, they talk to me too." Detective Cole's gaze softened. "Ma'am, I understand. But if I tell you what I know, you'll wish I hadn't." The air grew still. Silent. Deadly. Mama stepped aside, letting her in. The detective sat at the dining table. We followed slowly, like people walking toward a cliff without rails. Detective Cole opened the folder. Inside were pictures. Dozens. My father's face stared back at me, but younger, harder, colder. Tattoos on his arms I had never seen. A scar across his eyebrow. Darker hair, angrier eyes. "That isn't him," Mama whispered. "You have the wrong person." Detective Cole swallowed. "That is him. This is your husband. Long before you met him." I leaned forward, my voice trembling. "Who was he?" The detective looked at me, pity in her eyes. "His real name is Daniel Riker. He's been a missing person for 27 years. My blood ran cold. "Missing?" I croaked. "But he's been with us. My whole life. Not missing because he was lost," the detective corrected softly. "Missing because he was hiding." Mama shook her head violently. No, he's a good man. He's a father. He coaches softball. He built this house with his hands." Detective Cole closed the folder slowly, as if bracing herself for the explosion. "He was part of a criminal organization. A dangerous one. He turned on them. He disappeared into a witness protection program, and then he vanished again." My mouth fell open. "So he was what? In the mafia?" Detective Cole didn't smile. "He was an informant. And a target." Mama staggered backward, her hand gripping the counter. "You're saying people might come after us?" The detective's voice dropped to a whisper. "They already have." A chill shot through me. "What does that mean?" I whispered. Detective Cole narrowed her eyes. "Because just this afternoon, we intercepted a message." She slid a printed transcript across the table. 4 words were circled in red ink. "Found his family tonight." Mama gasped. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. "So he didn't leave us," I whispered. "He ran to protect us." Detective Cole nodded once. "Yes." Then she looked at me with a heaviness that made my knees weak. "And that phone call you answered earlier? It might have saved your lives." Our world had officially cracked open. But the night wasn't done with us. Not even close. Because at that exact moment, a second car pulled into our driveway. No headlights. No sound. Just a dark shape rolling to a stop outside our home. Detective Cole's hand shot to her gun. "Get behind me," she ordered. "Now!" Mama grabbed my arm. The house lights flickered. And then someone knocked on the door. Not loud, not rushed, just two gentle taps. Like whoever was out there already knew. We were terrified and trapped. Detective Cole didn't open the door right away. She pressed her ear gently against the wood first, eyes narrowed, breath still. The house had never felt so quiet, like the whole world was holding its breath with us. Mama whispered, barely moving her lips. "Lena, don't move." My knees were trembling so hard I thought the floor might hear me. I didn't even know floors could hear, but right then, every piece of the house felt alive, listening, watching, remembering things that I didn't. A shadow moved under the door. Not walking, not pacing, just standing. As if whoever or whatever was outside already knew we were on the other side. Frozen like statues. Detective Cole raised 3 fingers. 2. 1. She pulled the door open so fast it sucked air through the hallway. A man stood there, middle-aged, tall but hunched, like years of secrets had bent his spine. A baseball cap pulled low. Windbreaker zipped up even though it wasn't cold. He lifted his hands slowly. "I'm not here to cause trouble," he said, voice shaking. "I'm here to end it." Detective Cole didn't lower her weapon. "Name now." He swallowed hard. "My name is Matthew Grayson." Mama collapsed onto the nearest chair like someone had struck her. My heart dropped into my stomach, because I knew that name. I had read that name in the adoption file. Detective Cole showed me earlier that night. The file Mama begged me not to see. The file that said my biological father wasn't dead like I'd always been told. This man, this stranger, was the name written under Father Matthew Grayson. My voice came out barely a whisper. "Why are you here?" His eyes met mine, soft brown eyes that looked too much like my own. "I never wanted you to live in fear," he said. "I never wanted them to reach you." "Them?" Detective Cole cut in sharply. "Be specific." He stepped inside slowly, hands still up. "Your mother tried to keep Lena safe. But the people who came after me, they don't stop. They don't forgive. And they don't forget." Mama covered her face with her hands. "Don't, Matthew, please." I stared at her, confused and hurt. "Mama, you know him?" All this time? She didn't answer. And that silence hurt worse than any truth she could have given. Detective Cole stepped slightly in front of me, protective. "Why come now? After 18 years? Matthew exhaled deeply, like he'd been drowning for decades. "Because I finally know the date. The final date." He reached into his jacket pocket very slowly. Detective Cole tensed, finger on the trigger. He froze. "It's just paper." He unfolded a tiny wrinkled slip with a single number written on it. 18. Just 4 numbers. Nothing else. But Mama gasped like the paper was covered in blood. No, Matthew. You told me you burned all of them." "I did," he whispered. "But this one showed up in my mailbox today." Detective Cole leaned closer without touching it. "What does it mean?" Matthew's voice broke. "It means they're coming. Tonight." The room spun. I grabbed the edge of the table to stay upright. "Coming for who?" He looked straight at me. "You." Mama let out a sound I had never heard before, somewhere between a sob and a scream. Detective Cole moved fast, snapping into action. "Okay, everyone gets away from the windows." Lena behind me. "Ma'am, kitchen, lights off." "Matthew, if you have information, you give it now." But Matthew didn't move. His eyes were locked on mine, terrified and apologetic. "I tried to keep this from you. From both of you. But your daughter. She's the only leverage they think they have left." "Leverage for what?" I cried. He hesitated. Then he said the one sentence that shattered everything. "The reason you were adopted wasn't because I abandoned you. It was because you were stolen." My knees buckled. The room vanished behind a wave of nausea. "Stolen? Me?" Mama's breath hitched and she shook her head violently. "Don't listen to him, Lena. Please, he's twisting everything." "Am I adopted or not?" I whispered. She froze, and her silence gave me the answer. Detective Cole placed a steady hand on my shoulder. Lena, sit down. I don't want to sit down, I said, voice shaking. I want answers. Mama finally spoke, her voice trembling. Baby, I didn't steal you. I saved you. Matthew stiffened. That's not what the organization believes. Detective Cole's eyes flicked between them. What organization? He swallowed like the name itself tasted poisonous. The Meridian Circle. Detective Cole cursed under her breath. I was afraid you were going to say that. My heartbeat felt like a drum pounding inside my skull. Who are they? Matthew looked around the room like the walls might be listening. Powerful, hidden, everywhere, and for decades. They've believed one thing, that our daughter holds something they want. Daughter? The word cut through me like glass. Mama's voice cracked. Don't say it like that, Matthew. You lost the right. I never lost that right, he snapped back. I signed those papers so you could protect her. But they found me. They always find me. And when they do, they don't leave loose ends. He turned to me, eyes full of regret. You weren't supposed to talk on that phone call. Lena, they were never supposed to hear your voice. Detective Cole stiffened. What voice? Matthew's throat tightened. They tapped my phone. When Lena spoke, he shook his head. They knew she was alive. Mama covered her mouth, sobbing. My legs trembled. I felt like I was floating outside of my own body, watching my life crumble from a distance. Why do they care about me? I whispered. What could I possibly have? Matthew hesitated, and that hesitation scared me more than a gun to my head ever could. He walked closer, slowly, painfully, like he was approaching a grave. Because you're not just my daughter, he whispered. You're the last thing they failed to control. What does that mean? I cried. Before he could answer, a loud metallic click echoed outside. Detective Cole froze. Everyone froze. Another click. Then a third. Mama whispered, voice shaking. They're locking the gates. Detective Cole pushed us all back with one arm. Everyone move now, no questions. Matthew's eyes widened with terror. This fast? They never move this fast. She cut him off. They heard the call. My stomach dropped. Oh, God. Matthew grabbed my hand. We can still get you out. Through the back. But we have to leave now. The lights flickered once, then went completely out. Total darkness swallowed the house. Mama screamed. Detective Cole swore under her breath. Matthew pulled me close. And in that darkness, a voice whispered from outside the window, a man's voice. Calm, cold, certain. Lena, we've been waiting for you. Detective Cole stayed frozen for a moment, listening, not blinking, not even breathing loudly. The silence of the house felt unbearable, like the walls themselves were waiting to hear what came next. Then she pointed 2 fingers toward the hallway. Both of you, she whispered. Move back slowly. Mama grabbed my hand, and we stepped backward, 1 inch at a time, until we reached the kitchen doorway. I could feel her shaking. Not trembling, shaking. The kind of shaking that starts deep inside the bones, where fear lives. Detective Cole kept her body pressed against the doorframe. Another knock. But this time, it wasn't soft. It was sharp. 3 hard strikes. Bang, bang, bang. Mama gasped. I covered my mouth. The detective immediately unlatched her gun holster. And then, a man's voice came from the other side of the door. Calm. Too calm. Ma'am, this is Officer Parks with the Portland Police Department. We're responding to a welfare concern. Mama's eyes widened. Welfare concern? She mouthed to me. Detective Cole didn't relax. Not even a little. She raised her voice, steady and controlled. Badge number? A beat of silence. Then the voice said, Badge number 6741. Detective Cole let out a tight exhale, almost like she recognized the pattern of hesitation. That's not a valid badge number, she whispered to herself. She motioned us further back. The man outside tried again. We just need to speak with the homeowner. Cole's expression hardened. Not police, she mouthed. My whole body pulsed in panic. The doorknob rattled, once, twice, then violently. Mama squeezed my hand, whispering, "Oh God, oh God." Into the hallway, Detective Cole ordered quietly. Now. She ushered us down the narrow corridor toward my bedroom. The floorboards creaked under our feet, each creak sounding like a scream in the silent house. Behind us, the doorknob kept jerking harder each time. Mama whispered, "Why is this happening?" Cole didn't answer, because she no longer had theories, only threats. She pushed us inside my bedroom and closed the door gently behind us. "Stay low, stay quiet," she instructed. The three of us crouched behind my bed, the only cover we had. And then, crack. The front door splintered. Mama slapped her hand over her mouth so she wouldn't scream. Boots hit the living room floor, heavy, purposeful. One pair, then a second. My heart nearly burst. Detective Cole crouched beside us, gun drawn, breathing slow and controlled. Her eyes locked on the bedroom door, waiting, listening. A man's voice filtered through the house. "She's not here. Check the back." Footsteps spread across the hardwood floor, one set moving toward the kitchen, another toward the hallway. Mama clutched my arm so hard I felt nails press into my skin. Cole leaned in close to us. "When I say run," she whispered, "you get out through the window and head straight to your neighbor's house. Do not look back. Do you understand me?" We both nodded. Another set of footsteps creaked closer. The ones coming down the hallway, toward my room. The doorknob to my bedroom turned. Very slowly, Detective Cole raised her gun. But then, a sharp beep came from her radio. A voice crackled through. "Cole, this is dispatch. Be advised, 2 male suspects posing as officers were spotted near your location. Repeat, suspects posing as officers." She slapped the radio off. But the damage was done. A voice outside my bedroom door said, "Call?" Oh God, they already knew she was here. The doorknob twisted harder. My breath froze in my chest. Cole whispered, "Now." Mama pushed me toward the window as quietly as she could. My hands trembled so badly I could barely lift the latch. Behind us, bang, bang, bang. They were trying to kick the bedroom door in. Cole aimed her gun at the door. "Go." The window finally slid up with a screech of old metal. Mama climbed out first, dropping onto the small patch of wet grass below. I swung my legs through next just as... Crash! The bedroom door flew open. I didn't even look back. I jumped, landing hard beside Mama. My knees buckled. But she grabbed me and pulled me upright. "Run!" she cried. The rain smacked our faces as we sprinted across the yard toward the back gate. Behind us, a man leaned out my bedroom window, shouting, "There! They're outside!" Mama yanked the gate open with shaking hands. We dashed into the neighbor's yard, slipping on wet leaves, lungs burning, legs shaking. Lights turned on inside the neighbor's house. We pounded on the sliding door, desperate. "Open, please!" Mama cried. Mr. Lawson, an older retired vet, opened the door with startled eyes. "What on earth?" "Call 911, Mama screamed. "Please!" He ushered us in and locked the door immediately. My entire body was shaking as the sound of running footsteps echoed faintly outside. Mr. Lawson grabbed his phone, hands steady in a way that only military men seem to master. 911, what's your emergency?" Mama and I huddled together, drenched, terrified, every breath trembling. And then, Detective Cole burst through the back gate, sprinting toward the house. Her hair was soaked, her jacket ripped, her gun still drawn. "Let me in," she yelled. Mr. Lawson recognized her immediately and threw the door open. She stumbled inside, breathless but alive. "They're gone," she gasped. They knew the police were coming. They bolted. Mama collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. I wrapped my arms around her even though I was shaking just as hard. Detective Cole locked the door behind her and leaned against it, breathing deeply, water dripping from her clothes onto the carpet. Her voice was calm again, but her eyes were filled with a truth she hadn't spoken yet. They weren't just after your mother, she said quietly. Mama lifted her head. What? Cole looked straight at me. They were after you. The room froze. I felt my stomach flip. My heart dropped into my shoes. Mama whispered, but why? Why my daughter? Cole exhaled slowly. Because that phone call wasn't random, she said. Someone wasn't just threatening you. She paused, waiting for Mama to meet her gaze. They were warning you. A deafening silence filled the room. Warning her about what? I whispered. Detective Cole sat down across from us, pushing her soaked hair from her face. About the truth, she said. The truth your mother buried 24 years ago. The truth about who your father really is. Mama's breath hitched. Detective Cole leaned forward. And the truth about the man who wants his daughter back. My blood turned to ice. What? I whispered. The detective nodded slowly. You were never supposed to know this. But that phone call wasn't a threat. Her eyes softened. It was the beginning. She looked at Mama. The beginning of the truth your daughter has been denied her whole life. Mama covered her mouth, tears filling her eyes. Please, I whispered, feeling my entire soul collapse in terror. Tell me what's going on. Detective Cole hesitated for the first time. Then she said the words that split my world in half. Your biological father isn't dead? The room spun. My chest tightened. Mama started crying, shaking her head desperately. Cole looked at me with pure sorrow. He's alive. A tear fell from her cheek. And he's been looking for you for 24 years.